Mike, Miggity, Mike. Yeah, I'm coming at y'all straight raw. Yeah, this ain't even like a legit episode. I'm gonna like number this something and a half. Yeah, we going in straight like that. No Erica today, no headlines. Had a couple things on my mind that I wanted to bring to y'all. Full episode coming next week. That topic being if you have kids or if you want kids, what are your biggest concerns about raising kids, and what do you know your concerns in regard to their future? That's next week. But today we gonna get into a couple different things, man. You know, I'm gonna let the music rock, and yeah, I'm gonna just let it flow today, man. I'm gonna just let it flow. I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna let it flow today. All right. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rob, host of From My Experience podcast, back with another piece of an episode. Let me not discredit myself. This will be a full episode. This will be episode 341. How y'all been doing out there? Have you been taking care of yourselves physically, mentally, and financially? I hope so. I have not. Not physically, anyway. Financially, doing okay. I ain't rich, but doing okay. Mentally and physically, I have failed. And I think conversations like this are important for those of you who listen and follow to understand that it happens. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you got or what you don't got. We can all succumb to stress and just any type of thing to affect our mentality. But definitely the same thing physically, you know. You got to get up, you got to get out, you got to get active. Health is definitely wealth, man. So the reason you're getting the episode on Saturday, if you haven't seen our social media, FME_podcast, and the reason why the topic is different, even though I put a question out there, is because I wanted to give that topic the time and respect to breathe and to do more research. And I actually got a guest that will be joining us. Well, she's a friend of the show. Yolanda. She'll be joining us. She is the host of Frank Factualities. Check out her podcast for show, and check out Frank Factualities on Instagram. Make sure you follow them and support my homie. That's the first person whoever hit me up and was like, hey, you know, I want to start a podcast. What's up? Okay, I think that's the first person. Yeah, that's the first person who hit me up about podcasting and was serious. And I showed her any and everything I had, and she did it. And I don't even know how many episodes she have. I think she might be in the 200s. But anyway, so physically, I've been letting myself go, man. I have just not been motivated. I just have not found the energy. And I think part of it is the mental aspect. Mentally, I've had a lot weighing on my mind, like trying to save up to buy a house. I'm in a new relationship, so I'm figuring out, and that's long distance. So figuring out, you know, seeing each other and making sure I'm budgeting to give the time, effort, and energy into my relationship. Because if you know me, you know I'm a lover, and I am very big on making sure my woman feels secure in the relationship. And she's not putting any pressure on me by any means. This is just me in the way that I think. And, you know, sometimes when you get in a new relationship, you kind of think of those old relationships and you kind of overcompensate sometimes. All right. So there's that. New job. New job has been interesting. A lot of ground up things. And if you ever had to do anything from the ground up, you know that it is a lot of work, a lot of questioning, a lot of unknown, a lot of figuring out. I am not a huge fan of the unknown. I can deal with it. I can handle it. I've done it before. But is that my first choice or option? Absolutely not. Family stuff going on. Just thinking about the future. I'll stop there. So that's what's been going on in my mind. So number one, I cut myself off from what I was saying earlier. Next week's topic, I know it's weird. Why are you talking about next week? So please chime in the comments. Next week's topic is going to be, and I said it in the beginning, if you have kids or if you want to have kids, what are the concerns or what are your concerns as far as raising kids and their future? And I'm asking people, I'm asking a multitude of generations. I'm going to ask some younger people. I'm going to ask some older people who've already had kids and stuff like that to kind of compare and contrast like how we view the world in rearing children back then versus now. I think it's dope because the world has changed a lot. And, our parents had concerns. I'm pretty sure they had concerns about us. And I just wonder what those were and how that compares to today. So, I got to let that breathe. I got to do some more research. We're going to have a special guest. We're going to keep it moving. But back to me. So, I'll start with physically. I got to get back in the gym, man. I am on high blood pressure medication, which is nuts. And I think a big part of it is stress versus diet. Diet ain't been great lately, but I think a big part of it is stress. And we all know blood pressure or hypertension, high blood pressure or hypertension is a silent killer. It can literally kill you. Like, for those of you who don't know, Google it. But basically, the pressure of your blood running to and from your heart is too high and is damaging your artery walls, the walls of your arteries. So you need your arteries. And you need the blood to flow at a nice, calm, smooth pace so you're not tearing all that stuff up from when you actually need it. So, I've been battling that. And I got to get back to my diet and my health kick because I need to take care of myself physically. I need to get back in the gym. I've been losing weight, but probably unhealthy. Not probably, definitely unhealthy. But we're going to get back in the gym, man. The gym also, it's weird. It's weird how like stress can really pull you away from things that you actually love and enjoy. Like, I can't think of a time in the last couple years that I've gone to the gym and I hated it, regretted it, and wish I didn't go. Like, I always feel better. I feel much better than I did before I walked in. Like, every time I walk out of the gym, I feel so much better. I love the soreness, which is a reminder of you just put in that work. I love the physical transformation. I love that it's making my, when I do the cardio, it's making my heart and lungs stronger. It's good for me. But I get distracted and stressed and I get pulled away from it. And we knocking that out, man. We knocking that out. I was going to go today, but I got pulled into some stuff at the last minute. So more than likely, I'll probably go tomorrow afternoon after I handle some other business this weekend. But I'm just sharing this because y'all know, like, I speak from experience. This is from my experience podcast. So, I speak from experience and I just give my opinion on things. And, I'd be a hypocrite if I come on here and I talk about other people's stuff and their situations and me sitting here telling you take care of yourself physically, mentally, and financially, like you can just do it at the snap of a finger like it's easy. No, like we fall off sometimes, and that's okay. What's not okay is when you don't get back. When you don't get back, you pay the price. So your boy's definitely going to hit the gym back up, going to get back on this diet stuff. And yeah, I'm going to take better care of myself physically. Like, I want to look good. I want to feel good. I want to have the ability to whoop somebody's ass if needed. And I still want to do some fun stuff. Like, I still want to do a mud run. I'd still like to go on a nice hike. I'm going to do some active stuff. And in order to do that, I got to be in shape so I can make it through those ordeals. So I shared the mental part, right, of some of the things that are on my mind. So, the way my head works, like thoughts I'm a planner. So like thoughts will consume me until I pull that thought to the side and I work it out in my mind. Like, it's like a bunch of math problems. Just like, imagine if you open your eyes and you just have a bunch of math problems floating in front of you. They're blocking your vision. They're annoying. You close your eyes, you still see them, and you just want to get rid of them. They're irking your nerves. Some of them are real easy, like 2 plus 2, 5 plus 8, 6 times 6, stuff like that. So you kind of pluck those sometimes to kind of clear up the space. But those super ridiculous arithmetics with brackets and parentheses, they're there too, and it's like, ugh, like this is ridiculous. And that's what I'm doing. I have a lot of moving parts in my life, and I'm just trying to work things out. But you know what? I was over stressing, and I had to remember something. The beautiful part about life is we get to make choices, and I don't have to solve all problems, and I'm not obligated to solve other people's problems. I think a lot of times for people who kind of align with the type of person I am, which tends to be helpful, which tends to be thoughtful, which tends to be, I'm a doer. Like, I don't focus on problems and arguments and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm like, all right, there's either a problem that exists right now or a potential problem that could exist in the near future. Let's go ahead and troubleshoot it now. Let's fix it. We can reflect on what went wrong later or right after so it won't happen again. But like, let's not just sit here and stew over the fact that this problem was created. Like, let's get to a resolution, and then, you know what I'm saying, we can figure it out. And I know a lot of dudes are like that. So for me, that's why the problems floating, so many, not really problems, but issues, thoughts, whatever, it's so annoying because I have to get rid of them. So one of the things I had to do, again, back to you don't have to solve everybody else's problems. We all have a life. We all have a life with experiences. We've all had a life where we had choices. At some point, you know, we all have different upbringings. And, you know, every decision in life isn't easy, but every decision in life is a decision that you get to make. And sometimes you have to dig yourself out of a hole. Y'all have heard my story on here, a bunch of stories where I've had to dig myself out of the hole. By the grace of God, I'm 3 years since I've been back in South Carolina, and I've basically back to rebuilding my life. Still got some things I'm putting back together, but we getting there. We almost there. We getting there. But I'm in a much better position. But I had to make a lot of tough decisions, a lot of decisions I didn't want to make, and I had to do a lot of things that I did not want to do. And I had to be, quote unquote, emotionally naked and honest and vulnerable. Like, you know, when the homies want to do stuff, yo, I ain't got it. When the homie's like, why you ain't doing this, that, and the third? Yo, I messed up. This is what happened. Whoop-de-whoop. Here's what I'm doing. Yo, why you over here doing that? Like, why you working over there? Why you working so hard at doing that? Yo, dog, like, this is the goal. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to do. So with no fear of judgment or other people's thoughts or feelings, I took the control and kept the control. I am in control of this situation. I can wake up tomorrow and make decisions that are either going to make my life easier and better, or I can wake up tomorrow and decide to do the same old thing, and be in the same old place. Even if it's 1 foot in front of the other. You know what I'm saying? Like with my new job, that took me applying for, 10, 15 jobs a week. And having a resume service. Shout out to Resume ATM. Shout out to Dr. Ashley Dash using her service. I had a resume service out there finding jobs and applying for me, and I was applying for jobs on my own. Yes, I am tired of filling out jobs. I was tired of filling out job applications and getting rejection emails or getting interviews and not making it through. I was tired of it. However, I was like, yo, I need to move on. I need more money. I need to move up so I can get these goals. So I did it. Did I feel like doing it? Absolutely not. If I never saw another resume again, I'd be straight. I promise you. But that's just one aspect, right? The other thing is when it comes to these thoughts, these math problems all in my face, what I had to do was take time, sit back, breathe, and pull them out one by one. Okay, here's this. How can I solve this? How can I troubleshoot this? Or is this something that's my problem? No. Boom, push it to the side. Pull up another one. Hey, blah, 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 woody whoop. Here's another problem. Here's another issue. Okay, I have options, which options are a beautiful thing because some people don't have options or don't have as many options. So you can choose 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, you know what? I think this is the best option. Bong, I'm going to do that. This is what I'm going to do when and if this comes about. Boom. Then comes another problem, or issue. Hey, this needs to be done in this time frame. What need to happen? Blah, blah, blah. People dragging their feet. Okay, cool. You know what? I'll be the one to spearhead this. Bong. Yo, let me hop in and say 1, 2, 3. Whoop, whoop. That's cool. All right, bong. We done. So, there's that. So when it comes to these issues, these problems, these thoughts that are on your mind, like, take some time to sit down and tackle them, and also really learn to categorize them. Like, hey, this ain't my problem. This ain't my issue. I might feel a little bad. I might feel a little guilty because I know that it's on them. But at the same time, the same way you have things that are on you, that are your responsibility, that you need to resolve, so do they. That's a part of life for everybody. You cannot do everything for everybody, because what you gonna have left for you? How much capacity are you going to have for when you need to really get stuff done, or when stuff really goes left and you didn't expect it? You got to save some capacity for you, and your life and your lifestyle. That's very, very, very important. Your life and your lifestyle is like the reason why you wake up. It's why you have peace each day. It's why you love your environment. It's why you love your community. It's why you built the community. It's why you work so hard. So why work so hard for something, to build something, to put it together, only to just have it sit there and not enjoy it, or watch it crumble because you're making decisions that aren't the best, or that aren't conducive to said lifestyle, or whatever it may be. So I would encourage you, man, on the mental aspect, really just talk through and walk through those things. Confer with friends. Like, I definitely, without giving too much information, like, I'll just speak in general. Like, as someone who has a parent who's still living, me and my friends, I'm 40. It feels weird to say that, but in our 40s, I've talked to a few friends, and some friends older, and they're like, yo, like, my mom, my dad, my grandma, this, that, and the third, like, they're not moving the way they used to. I gotta, like, care for them. I'm running to their house. Like, I'm doing all these things. And I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I balance? I still got my life and my bills and my responsibilities, but now they're kind of fading to a point to where, they need someone to kind of step in and help them with these things, because, in some cases, some people have a mentality to where they're stubborn, and you're not trying to tell them what to do, but you're trying to assist them so that you can prevent something from happening to them, or from them hurting themselves, or just, something to help their life or their lifestyle, their quality of life overall. And that gets tough because, you want to help someone, but you don't want resistance when you're trying to help, because it's like, one, you're resisting, which makes it harder for me to actually help you. And number two, the help that I'm giving you is taking away from my life. So it doesn't feel good when you are taking something from yourself to contribute to somebody else, and they're making it hard for you to do that. Like, it's already like, I'm already losing, so to speak. And I don't mean that like in a negative way, but it is what it is. Whether it's time, money, resources, when you help somebody else, you giving something like that up, mental capacity, whatever it may be. And I'm not saying they need to kiss your butt and be, super duper appreciative and build a statue of you, but it would feel a lot better to get I appreciate that, or less resistance, or more cooperation. It feels a lot better when it's that way. And that's just speaking in general. So, like, a lot of us have been having these conversations and just trying to figure out, like, yo, like, we need to start planning this stuff. We need to have a different type of conversation with our families. And what I've realized is, like, every generation, and you can do the research, has had some type of struggle to where we're trying to break curses, or we're trying to do things differently, or we're trying to elevate our family. And you see some of the people get up out of it, some of the more prominent family names you see out there. And then another thing that you see, which can be scary, especially if you're a person who really cares about, like, community, family, and care about people liking you, is a lot of the times when you're the one who speaks out and wants to do things differently and to make things better for people, not forcing, but simply having the conversation and putting in the work. When people are uncomfortable with that and they're resistant to that, they tend to reject you or try to make you feel like you're wrong, or you're doing something wrong, or you think so highly of yourself. And it's like, no, I'm thinking 5-10 years from now. Like, I'm thinking, okay, when I become an old man, what does life look like for my kids? Or when I become an old man, what does my care, my quality of life and care look like? Can I afford to be in a facility? Can I afford to have some type of assistance? Will I be living with my kids? Can I afford my expenses? You still got expenses, boy. Bills follow you until you die. Bills stay on you like your skin. So yeah, like having those type of estate planning conversations, we're coming around to that. A lot of my friends sell insurance. Shout out to my boy Demise. Shout out to my boy Russ. Just thinking about those aspects and having those conversations and broaching those conversations can be a little tough and difficult. I love my beautiful black people, but people hit you with oh, you trying to put me in the ground. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I ain't trying to put you in the ground. We all gonna end up there one day. How about we plan for it just a little bit? Just a little bit. Or not even, shoot, before you get in the ground. Hey, when you get older, what you want to do? Mom, dad, auntie, uncle, grandpa, brother, sister. Hey, dog, when you get a little older and things get a little too difficult, that house might be a little too big. You might have too much stuff. Like, how you want to do this? Versus, and so I bring that up because I ain't gonna say typically. You have situations where things are planned and there's at least some type of framework so people know how to move ahead of time versus getting a phone call, something done happened, and now everybody got to flip their life upside down. Or the few have to flip their life upside down. Next thing you know, you getting moving trucks, you taking off work, you flying across the country, you emptying savings accounts or tapping savings accounts because you in panic mode. It's like, oh shoot, like it happened, but you ain't got no plan. Now imagine that, and the person you trying to help and assist still is resistant or hesitant. But you see that, hey, this ain't the way things been working, it ain't gonna work moving forward. What I'm gonna do? Now you might have someone living with you. Now you might have to put someone in a facility. Now you may have to relocate. Nobody that I know would think that that is a pleasant surprise. But it does happen. We cannot predict life. And I'm not saying that my way of thinking is the right way. It is just a way. That is my way of thinking. That is a way of thinking, not the absolute. But I don't think there's any harm with broaching those conversations so that when and if something does happen, hey, all right, let me call these 5 people. Hey, remember what we talked about? It happened. You got the documentation? Great. All right, you going to take care of this? All right, I'll take care of that. All right, man, I'll see you in a couple days. And y'all not freaking out. Y'all not freaking out, man. Because, again, mentally, stress on you. So, yeah, man. I just wanted to just share that. That's some of the things I've been going through. Some of my friends have been going through. And conversations that I am broaching with friends, with family, just in preparation. And maybe that's part of my generational thing is, hey, start thinking about your transition from I'm working, I'm younger, I'm healthy to, hey, I'm getting older. I probably can't do what I used to do anymore. I need to think about my quality of life. I need to think about my lifestyle. And I need to plan for, hey, what happens when things get to a point to where, oh, shoot, like I can't do this on my own anymore. Instead of it being someone standing around your hospital bed after something already happened, maybe it's like one day if, and this takes maturity and it takes a lot of inner peace, because nobody, I could imagine that it doesn't feel good to know that you can't do simple things anymore that you used to be able to. And this is just my way of thinking. I'm very accepting in that manner. I'm not saying it feels good or it's easy, but it's like I'm older. Like I'm 40. Some of the stuff I used to do, the way I used to feel and all that type of stuff and move around in my 20s and 30s are gone. Do I miss some of it? Yeah. I used to be energetic. I used to be way more aggressive and my drive was way different when I was younger. It's not there anymore. And I realize, life experiences and things like that have worn me down. But also, bro, you're older. Your body don't work the same no more. Like, and I say this jokingly, but like when I hit my mid-30s, for some reason, I magically became allergic to, I developed a nut allergy. I can no longer do lactose. When I hit my 40s, liquor started upsetting my stomach. What else can I do now that I'm 40? Oh, back pain. I have to be very careful with the type and style of mattress that I sleep on. I need to stretch in the mornings. Like, I'm paying attention and noticing and absorbing, yo, you not the same that you used to be. When I was 20, I could hop out the bed, hop in the shower, get fresh, gone, boom, in 20 minutes. If I try that now, I'll probably pull something. Like, for real.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
Like, for real. And I know that's a different type of comparison, but what I'm saying is mentally, I'm preparing myself for, all right, this is a part of life. Like, life happens like this. It's gradual, but slowly but surely these things start to happen. Heck, I see why people don't like to drive at night. I'm straight, I got contacts, but driving at night, I understand now. Some of them roads is a little dark, you know? Might have to squint a little bit more than I used to, you know what I'm saying? And the reflexes ain't the same anymore, you know? Like, I notice these types of things. So honestly, to me, I think it'll still be a surprise, but less of a surprise when other things start to fade, and I know it's going to suck. But what I would like for me, and I can only speak for me, I would like to be open-minded enough and comfortable enough to, one, ask for help, and two, let people actually help me, especially as someone who has helped care for elderly people or people in need before personally, you know, without degrading them or making them feel some type of way, but also just comforting them and saying, hey, I understand and it's okay. And this is what I'm here for. Like, this is what family and friends and community are for. They're here to help you when you can't help yourself. Like, we don't have to do, like, again, I've talked about this in the past on the podcast. We don't have to be this super duper independent. I can do it all by myself. I don't need nobody, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, come help me. Come help me. What can you do? Okay, great. Knock it out. And I'm trying to shoot. If I can coast when I get older, I'm a coast. You know? But that's just my way of thinking, and those are just some of the things that not only me, but me and my friends, quite a few actually have just been dealing with, man. Stuff is popping up, and before you know it, our lives have shifted, and we have made a bunch of major decisions based on somebody else's needs. And meanwhile, our needs, our wants, our desires, and our life is on pause for who knows how long, because these things have happened. And I'm not placing blame or fault, but these things have happened. We didn't think to have the conversation, or we didn't have the conversation. And now we're in it trying to figure it out instead of, before this hits, let's try to figure it out. So I say all that, and I'll say this in closing. You're not going to catch everything. Like, and everything's not gonna really hook your attention. You know, there are a lot of problems in your life or within even the black community that need to be solved. Some of them are floating around you right now, right? And, you know, it sounds like a contradiction, but, like, you know, I'm talking about, like, estate planning. But meanwhile, I'm not going to the gym like I was supposed to. And I know that me not going to the gym or working out is a problem, but I haven't been addressing it. But you over here addressing this problem or this issue. Like, that's what I mean. We see them, and you know you should do something about them, but we don't always do something about them. The problem for me is when you see a bunch of these things and you're not doing anything about any of them. Like, hell, pick one or two, something. Try to pick one or two and say, you know what? These are the things I see, but I ain't got the capacity, or I don't know how to do this, or you know what? I ain't gonna do it. But this one right here, nah, I'm attacking this. I'm attacking this. That's okay. Like, you can't do it all. You cannot do it all. But my thing is, do something. If one of them things kind of speaks to you a little bit more, it's irking your nerves a little bit more, it's a bigger concern than some of the rest, do something. You can do something. Here, world, here, world. Now, this was not meant to be like a doom and gloom episode. It's not, but it's just something I want y'all to think about, man. And I know there's a lot of people out there who can relate. I've seen a lot of situations and things pop off, and I've had to say to myself, oof, like, that could be me. That could be me. I don't do that with everything, but I do that with things that are closely related to my current situation not even my current situation, in comparison to my situation or similar to my situation, where I'm like, ooh, I'm not there yet, but we could be there soon, or sooner than I think. So let me prep now instead of sitting and waiting for it to happen and not saying anything. So, that's all I got for y'all, man. I really hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I hope you pull some gems from this. I mean it from the bottom of my heart when I say take care of yourselves physically, mentally, and financially. I don't even know where I got that from, and I've been saying that for as long as I can remember on this podcast. But that's a real thing. Those are like some of the basics. Take care of yourself physically, your physical health. You need physical health just to take care of the day to day, right? Mentally, like, how are your thoughts? How are you feeling? How are you carrying the weight of the world each day and resolving these issues? And, also leaving room for yourself and taking care of your life and your obligations and making decisions that are best for you mentally, instead of, walking around feeling like you're living for somebody else. And next thing you know, you turn around and, you 60 or you 55 or you 50. And now, like, some of your youthful years are gone, right? Financially, that's important, man. Do you have a savings account? Do you have a high yield savings account? Check out UFB Direct. I don't have any sponsors, but check out UFB Direct. Check out something like Acorns, where you can stash money to the side passively without even looking at it. And before you know it, it stacks up to something. Do you have a life insurance policy so that, God forbid, when something happens to you and you pass away, your family has something? Or the type of policy to where 10, 15 years from now, you can borrow against it? Do you have any investments? Are you making enough money? That's the real question. Are you making enough money? Because as we see, things ain't getting cheaper. They getting expensive.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
They getting expensive.
I'll be damned.
And they getting more expensive. And without sharing too much, with the salary that I currently make and me looking to move and do these type of things, I am vastly surprised-ish. Well, not really. I'm surprised in comparison to what I saw in the market versus what I see now, and looking at how limited my options are, even with the income that I'm currently making. I would think that at the income level that I'm at now, I would have way more options. But, that's why financially, again, eliminating debt to free up that money is important. Saving is important. And looking at how you can maximize your income is important. Housing is expensive. Whether you are renting or buying, it is expensive. Moving is expensive. Furniture is expensive. And I broke the rule. Everything's ringing. Yeah, so, yeah. I lost my train of thought. No, I didn't. Financially, man, take care of yourselves financially. Make sound decisions and think about your future and invest in your future. All right. Message for the brothers. Brothers, I only got one thing to say to y'all. Do this. Get a pen, paper, notes app on your phone, laptop, tablet. Or if you're like me, you can kind of process it in your head. Financially, I process it on my phone. Another thing, take care of yourself financially. Sidebar. Shout out to my boy Russ Stewart. Russ told me, I'll get back to you, brother. Sorry. Russ told me years ago, man. I just got out of a relationship, moved in with him because I had to reset. And we were talking about finances. And I was talking about how broke I was. And that's another thing. We rejecting the broke mentality. I'm not walking around, I ain't got it, I can't afford it. But that's dead to me. No, I got it and I can afford it. I just ain't doing it. And I ain't giving it away. We not claiming poor no more. We not claiming broke no more. We not doing that. Because that's exactly where you'll be. People like to say, oh, it's in the power of the tongue and all this stuff. But you run around claiming the worst stuff, trying to make yourself look pitiful so nobody will ask you for nothing. No. Like in the words of Dr. Ashley Dash, no is a complete sentence. I'm up. I'm good. I'm straight. Yo, man, let me help. Nah, I ain't got it, dog. Nope. Anyway, me and Russ were talking about finances. I've said this on here before. It's been a while. But he was like, he's like, you have more money than you think you have. I was like, well, how you know, man, I got this salary, blah, blah, blah. He was like, when's the last time you sat and wrote out your bills and looked at what you're actually spending and what you're spending it on? Changed my life. I thank him every few years. I thank him for that conversation. I didn't get it right away. You don't always get everything right away. But boy. Yeah, I actually calculated my bills and realized I was eating up all my money. Literally. I was eating out too much. Shifted my life. So now, again, take care of yourself financially. Get you a bills app. There's free apps. You can put all your bills in there and they'll show you, all right, based on the information you put in the app, here's what your monthly bills look like and due date. And that total number, add up your 2 paychecks you get a month or however much you make a month and subtract that number from it and look at what's left over. And that'll tell you what you need to know. Download the bills app, put them bills in there, take your monthly income, subtract all those bills and look at what's left over. And then you can start having a real conversation. But back to you, brothers. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I had to put that in there. That's for y'all too, though. Like, get you a bills app. I do everything through my bills app. So when someone asks me for something and wants to do something, I can immediately look and see, okay, what have I paid? What's coming up? When is it due? After I do these things, how much money I'm going to have left? Keep an eye on your money. Because it'll get away from you when you don't look at it. I spent years not looking at it. And a lot of us don't look at it out of fear. No. You should be fearful of you not looking at it, okay? You probably have more than you think you have. But, you're not spending responsibly. Whatever. But anyway, brothers, back to you. Whatever medium you use to kind of get your thoughts out. I want you to write down, take care of yourself physically. And be honest with yourself and ask, am I taking care of myself physically? What am I doing physically to take care of myself? I tell you, my fitness journey started back when I was living in North Charleston. I was just fat. I was almost 300 pounds. I should not be anywhere near 300 pounds. I had my first real health issue. I had polyps in my gallbladder. Thought I was going to have my gallbladder removed. They were small, so the doctor didn't recommend surgery. But I'm like, yo, this is me in my mid to late 20s. I'm like, bro, you eating yourself to death. I was eating out every day. Multiple times a day. Fat. You know what I started doing after that health scare? Started walking. Not lifting weights, not going to the gym, not running. I had a big neighborhood behind me. At least 2 or 3 times a week. Walking. 4 or 5 miles. I'm old school. Born in the 80s. We walked everywhere. We rode bikes everywhere. I'm just wired for it. Started that. Started shifting the diet. As I got older, I kind of found this comfort weight. Still tried to walk every now and again. Later on, got with Coach Law. Shout out to my boy, Break My Fifth Law. Check out Break My Fifth Law, man. Got in his fitness program. Learned more about health and wellness. Got my stuff together even more. Gonna get back on that soon. But I've shifted my diet and shifted my lifestyle because I want to take care of myself physically, because I want to live and I also want to have a nice quality of life. Like if something pop off, I want to be able to run half a mile or jog a half a mile or a mile without my lungs feeling like they gonna burst. And like I said earlier, if I might have to whoop somebody's ass, I need to know that I stand a chance at actually whooping their ass. Everybody think they got a one-hitter quitter, but do you really have a one-hitter quitter? Like, do you have strength? You know what I'm saying? Like, can you last in a 2 to 3 minute fight, boy? 2 to 3 minutes of throwing hands is a long time. Your lungs gonna feel like they're on fire after 45 seconds. But anyway, ask yourselves that, brothers, am I taking care of myself physically? And if not, what you gonna do about it? Start small with a walk. Get you some resistance bands. Lift them joints in the house. That there's millions of things you can do. Find you a YouTube channel with workouts on it. Find you someone on Instagram with workouts on it. Incorporate some type of health, wellness, and fitness in your life. And if you can do it daily, great. But please do that, man. Increase your quality of life. And you feel good about yourself when you look a certain way. Let's be real. Then right now, take care of yourself mentally. And ask yourself, what's weighing on my mind and what's stressing me? Now, this is a scary conversation because there may need to be some things that you need to address that are basically on your shoulders, or things from your past you haven't dealt with, or things that you're currently dealing with that you need to have a real talk and conversation with yourself about your own bullshit. Then there's another side, the other people's bullshit that's in your life. You need to have a conversation with these people. Get it off of you. It's killing you. It's killing you. Carrying mental stress on top of your physical not being well is killing you slowly. Slowly. It's doing it for real. So get those things down on paper. Do you need a therapist? Do you need to have a conversation? Do you need to apologize? Do you just need to get something off your chest? Do you need to, I can't go into it like I want to. Are you holding on to something from your past, or holding on to an issue or something? Or is it holding on to you? That's another conversation for another day. Am I holding on to this thing? Am I the one who keeps regressing and going back and thinking this and reverting to this type of behavior or thing? Or is every time I try to take a step forward or change my mentality or do better, does this thing keep popping up and telling me you don't deserve it? This is not good for you. Hey, I'm here. You know it's not going to work. Think about that. That helps too. Put those things down. Address them, brothers. Did I already say financially? Oh yeah, financially. I kind of already gave that spiel in the beginning, but am I taking care of myself financially? Be responsible. Write down your income. Write down your bills. Subtract them. If the number's looking funky, ask yourself what the problem is. Baby steps. Snowball. Whatever your lowest debt is, pay that off first. If that's $50 a month, bong. All right, I paid it off. Roll that $50 into the next debt. So that you got another little debt that's $70 a month. Instead of just paying $70, take that $50. If you really, really need it, take a little $20 off of that $50 and put that extra $30 with that $70. Now you paying $100 a month on that little bill instead of the $70. You'll pay it off faster. Guess what? When you pay that off, now you freed up $70. So on and so forth. I know some people are like, man, what is he talking about? It works. I'm literally doing it now. I've paid off a couple of debts recently, and now I'm rolling that money into some other debts because I'm going to keep it a thou wow funky with y'all. A thou wow funky and vulnerable with y'all. I personally have about in between $30,000 and $40,000 worth of debt through various things. Not all of it's bad debt. Through various things. And when I sit down, and that sounds bad, right? It sounds like, oh my gosh, such a weight on my shoulders. So I mean, in compared to some people, that ain't nothing. But when I sit and look and break it down, bill by bill, debt by debt, I'm like, oh, I could probably knock this out in 2 to 3 years or less, probably less. If I hustle, much less. But I can realistically get rid of all of it. But it's because I've taken the time to learn what to do financially, learn how to be patient, and learn when to say no. Learn when to save, learn when to spend. snowballing. It works. And it'll go away. All right? So that's what I got for y'all, man. I did not expect this to be a full-length episode. I thought I was going to be here for 15, 20 minutes, but and when I really care about something and I'm really passionate about it and I'm going through something that I know other people are going through and nobody's talking about it and nobody's saying it because we are too busy talking about all the other things that literally don't have nothing to do with us. We will sit up all day and talk about other people's lives and other people's problems while we sit and let ours rot. Nah, I'm good. So I share this to be open, to be vulnerable, and to let you know you're not the only one. But most importantly, you can do something about it because you have the power to choose. Boom. All right. I love y'all, man. From My Experience Podcast, man. 341 episodes we at now, man. This is a beautiful journey, man. This is not work to me. This is like breathing. I love it. I love pouring into people. I love just being able to let these thoughts flow. I love the feedback I get from my friends. And this has just been a beautiful journey, man. We started out as a relationship podcast. And then we shifted to, hey, let's focus on hot topics. To, you know what? Let's talk about life. Let's talk about what we going through. Let's talk about what people aren't talking about. Not doom and gloom, not conspiracy theories, but real life experiences we've been through, problems we've experienced, and how we got through them. Or thinking of ways to get through them or get past them, or trying to change your mindset to do better. We can do better. You do not have to conquer the world in one day. One day at a time, one step at a time, all right? Until next time, take care of yourselves physically, mentally, and financially. We'll catch you. Peace.